une traduction en français.
You know, where's the...
Yeah, just outside here.
I go find his toys.
Maybe I can also translate.
Advantages for you.
Peut-être qu'il faut demander en anglais. D'ailleurs, peut-être qu'il faut poser la question en anglais.
We need a Russian translation.
Узкий переводчик нужно. Om Agyantamandasya Agyantamandasya Chakshambalitam Zena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manupistam Savidam Yinavutani Swayam Rupakaram Navati Svaratikam Namo Vishnuvara Krishna Visa Buddhani Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Govani Vajrayane Nivishesha Shnivari Prasatani Shatayane Panchakapa Dvivasa Kripa Sanivevacha Paritanam Paranevya Vaishnavya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Guru Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much for coming and showing your interest in this topic of the false ego, our constant companion and troublemaker. Is there a need for me to introduce myself? Or? Yes? Since it's first time I'm visiting New Mayapur, and actually also first time I'm visiting France.
Wow!
Yes.
Happy ball!
Yeah, so my name is Devaki Prabhu. I'm actually originally from Germany, but I never lived there as a devotee. I left Germany in 1984, traveled the world and met the devotees in Australia, in Sydney, in 1985, and I immediately, after 1 week of meeting the devotees, I moved into the ladies' ashram. Whoops, don't turn it off completely. Now you turned it off completely. I'm sorry. It was not so bad. Yes. Yes. So I immediately moved into the ladies' ashram, and I was for 4 years in the Brahmachari ashram in Sydney, getting the basic training in all different areas of devotional life. And then I was married for 10 years, and during that time we pioneered the temple in Latvia, in Riga. Yeah, it was like almost the first more organized temple in former Soviet Union. From there I'm connected with the Russian-speaking preaching for many years actually. So we started from nothing. We had no deities, no building, no spices, no saris, nothing. And within a few short years we had 75 brahmacharis. They came from all over from the Soviet Union, and 30 brahmacharis. Yes. Well, this was in 89, there, I guess in those temples there was so many more devotees. But there people were starving for some spiritual life. So yeah, we had very adventurous 10 years there in pioneer spirit. And anybody's been to Riga, to the temple there?
I'm originally from Latvia, but it's
Oh, are you know? Okay. Yeah, so that building, Pushyanka 56, yeah, and that's what we got. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that for hours, but we want to go to the 40 year. So anyway, so then in 1999, my former husband left me, left Krishna consciousness, remarried a non-devotee and separated again, and I'm not quite sure what exactly he's doing now. So since 1999, I'm basically living out of a suitcase, And my program is 5 months per year preaching in Bangladesh and India, and 7 months per year all around Europe. Before the war started, I used to spend a lot of time in Ukraine, but now I can't really go there at the moment. But other places, Moldova, I go, and Croatia, Slovenia, there's so many countries, Czech Republic and that. But I also go to the US, to Canada, Australia, New Zealand sometimes, or South Africa sometimes. So yes, I'm going all over the place, and I've never been to France. Going all over the planet, but France I somehow always miss. So, and yes, in Bangladesh I've been very involved there for more than 20 years now. And I learned a lot of things there because it's a very cultured place. Vaishnav culture is very much alive there still. And because most of Mahaprabhu's associates, they come from that part of Bengal, East Bengal, which is now Bangladesh. So Ubran Sinahi Goswami, Punrik Vinyanidhi, Narottam Das Thakur, and Mukunda Datta, Vasudev Datta, Vajracharya, Srivas Thakur. I mean, even Mahaprabhu's parents, actually Sachimata had Mahaprabhu in her womb when she was living in Bangladesh. And just 2 months before his appearance, they moved to Manavati. So all the Hindus in Bangladesh, they have that mood. Mahaprabhu appeared in our country. It's Mahaprabhu Dash. Dash is the country. So yeah, they're all very Mahaprabhu conscious, much more than in West Bengal actually. Yeah, so over the years I learned so many things there, how to actually live our philosophy. We don't just want to become armchair philosophers, and talk, but we want to live it, right? And only when we live it, it actually only then transforms the heart. Just talking about it, it's not going to do that much. Yeah, so, and that inspired me to establish a little institute for spiritual culture. My base is Mayapur. I spent there 2 or 3 months per year. And I put all different courses together, which I teach there regularly over the month of January for 6 weeks. And yes, and now I'm putting these courses in book form. So I've published 5, I've got 2 more to go. Next one will be the Vanapasta Ashram. Nobody even talks about it, not established, but it's such an important ashram. So that will be my next book, which I want to work on next year. Yeah, so, and as you can see, the false ego is also a part of these courses. I teach that course every year in Mayapur. It's always the most popular one. I always have 60, 70 people there. They all want to hear what is this false ego all about. And usually I give the course over 10 hours. So we only have a couple of sessions of, 1.5 hours or something. So this will just be a little introduction just to bring awareness to this topic of false ego and maybe to inspire you to get the book. Because the book, you have the whole package. And all I can say is it has helped me a lot to detect how my false ego gets into my way to put that book together. So maybe it will help you too. Yes. And also, I do like to conduct holy name retreats. I have every year, I put one on in Ekachakradam over Christmas, 23rd to 27th of December. This is a really sweet and deep experience. Yes. 4 nights we stay in Ekachakra. I arrange everything. All you have to do is register on my website and be in time in Mayapur, and I arrange the baths and the accommodation shalom. I've done it for 15 years, so it's almost like some routine.
Sorry, what it is?
Ekachakradam. That's Lord Nityananda's place of appearance. It's really special. It's about 4 hours by bus from Mayapur. Yeah, very. Who's been to Accommodation? Not so many. Come and get Nityananda's mercy.
I'd love to.
Yes, yes, because usually when people go to Accommodation, they go in one day there and back, and that's a bit of a torture, you know, 4 hours there, 4 hours back. But we stay there for 4 nights, and you enter a different reality. It's really powerful, just being away from everything. And even it's more powerful if you switch off your mobile phone for 4 days. Then you really get some deep experience, you know, all these distractions you leave behind, you know. Yeah, think about it, it's really nice. Actually, even Mayapur, the best time is December, January, you know, February. After that, the whole energy changes in Mayapur, and so many people come, and I mean, it's good that they come, but the whole energy really changes. So if you want to experience Mayapur as it is, then come in January, February. Yes, really nice time. Yes, yeah. Otherwise, Gopani, not the best idea for Mayapur. No. I usually try and be outside of Mayapur and Gopani. You know. This year I was in Istanbul, in Turkey. That was a special Gopani. That is the Buddhist thing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so false ego. After conducting so many holy name retreats, one day this realization hit me that if we don't parallel to endeavoring to get on deeper levels of chanting, if we don't parallel work on dissolving our false ego, our chanting is almost like compared to an elephant taking bath. After elephant takes bath, you understand English?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. After elephant taking bath, what does he do? He grabs the dust and throws it back on his back. And that's exactly what we do. We may endeavor to get on deeper levels of chanting, but then we slide back into these false ego patterns of behavior. And we are trapped there. And then we don't go anywhere. Because after all, Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichana, you know, we have to be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. And only then we actually get that benefit which the Holy Name brings. But as long as we are trapped in our false ego patterns of behavior, we stagnate. We just, you know, then we can chant the Holy Name for 30, 40 years and we're not really getting anywhere. And I think this is what's going on in many people's lives. And that's why I thought, yes, false ego is such an important thing. It deserves some special attention because it's so subtle that very easily we miss it completely. You know? And in the name of Krishna consciousness, we can do the opposite of what we should be doing. We can feed and boost the ego like anything. Oh, it offers a lot of opportunities there, right? In Krishna consciousness, yes. And it's all going on, you know. Instead of dissolving, subduing it, we can feed it, boost it, massage each other's false ego. Feels good, you know. Yes, it's all going on. Some years ago, I was giving a little introduction to the seminar in Vrindavan, just before Kartik started. There was already a lot of devotees there. So, and then afterwards, one Mataji came up to me, who I know, she's been around for 20 years at least, she is devotee, and she said to me, "Oh, thank you for giving this seminar. Now I realize I actually have a false ego," she said. And she said, "I always thought this is just some theoretical, philosophical thing which has no relevance to me. I never even thought this is relevant. Yeah, so that's what can happen after 20 years of serious practice. People don't even realize. And then I have to tell you another funny story. I know one Mataji, she is quite tormented by a very strong, dominant false ego. And therefore she always gets herself in tension and conflicts and troubles. And then at some stage she was somewhat turning towards me and voicing her frustration about her situation. And I thought, all right, let me maybe try and give her some hint what the problem is. And I was very careful because I very well know that the false ego doesn't like to be poked, So I was very careful simply saying, well, this false ego always gets us into trouble. And you wouldn't believe how she reacted. She said, she laughed. She said, false ego, come on, what's that? I don't have that. And I thought, oh my God, how is it possible that she thinks she doesn't have a false ego when somebody has such a prominent and dominant false ego? She thinks she doesn't have it. She was laughing it off. Come on, what's that? I don't have that. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. Actually, what I answered was, I wish I could say that about myself. That's all I said. I didn't say more because I knew, no use. No use. She won't understand. Yeah, so all these realizations, made it very clear to me. And also, the Shastra promises detachment, right? But then very often we see that even after practicing 30, 40 years, we're still so attached to title, position. Oh my God, Yes, anybody who's been around and has gone for a while, for 25, 30 years or whatever, I'm sure you have seen so many scenarios where people are so attached to title and position. Not that I want to offend anybody, but I've been scratching my head thinking, my God, it seems like we're doing something wrong here, something is missing. Otherwise, the Shastra says detachment. So, is the Shastra wrong, or the process doesn't work, or what? Yeah, so all these things really inspired me to explore this topic of the false ego, because it's just so subtle that we can easily miss it. So much just as a little introduction. So let us remember this, as we all know, the soul is covered by a gross body made from earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then there is the subtle body made from mind, intelligence, and here we have it, false ego. So it's the most subtle part of the subtle material body. And as we also know, at the moment of death, the soul leaves the gross body behind and travels on that subtle body to its next destination. So in other words, the subtle body we have been carrying with us for so many lifetimes. Yes, it's almost like a computer chip where there's so much information stored, so many impressions and experiences and desires and traumas, and there's so much stuff is stored in the subtle body. And if we want to go back to God, we have to fully transform and spiritualize the subtle body. All the material aspects have to be replaced with spiritual impressions, spiritual desires, spiritual experiences. That's why Krishna always says, think of me, focus your mind on me. Actually the whole process of Krishna consciousness really targets the subtle body like anything. Yes. And to really transform that and fully spiritualize it, can you just turn it a tiny touch down, but really only a tiny touch, because there is a little bit of whistling there. But just really little, not that you turn me off again completely. Oops, see, now you turn me off completely. Oh, Krishna, alright, let's keep it like that. Yes, this is better than before. Good. Yeah, so to actually really transform the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego, to transform that into the real ego. This is not so easy. I dare say for most of us, it is a journey over several lifetimes. I believe so. Yes. Yeah. And it requires a lot of internal work. Krishna consciousness is not an external thing of just getting up there in the ladder of hierarchy, first initiation, second initiation, Facebook, 50,000 friends. No, that's all the external stuff. The real thing is this internal work we have to do. Yes. Not easy, not easy. And without introspection and honesty, we have no chance. Yeah, we have to introspect, reflect constantly, yes, to really do this internal work. We can easily always brush it under the carpet by blaming everybody else and, oh, we are fine, it's all the others and that. So yeah, and like that we don't do any transformational work there. Yeah, so, and interestingly, false ego already kicks in at a very young age. Anybody who's got kids knows this. Yes. I remember once I was visiting one young family, and I was talking to the parents in the lunchroom, and their girl was 1 year. She couldn't talk, but she could walk. So, and while I was talking to the parents, she was getting all her toys into the lunchroom. And I didn't really give it that much importance, but then the mother said, she's showing off her toys because you are here. And I thought, oh my God, with 1 year of age, it already starts showing off my toys. They are so special, and because they're my toys, that's why I am so special. Yeah, the toys are the first possessions of the kids, and this my toy is a whole thing. That's why kids always argue over the toys. They fight over the toys, I know one family, they have twins. Whole half the day ego battles over toys, and that's why it's good to have more than one child, so they learn how to share, Yeah, so it starts at youngest age, maybe even before 1 year, that kids throw tantrums and, want to get their desire through and want to be the center of attention and so it's a whole thing, it starts at such young age. And basically, false ego means, in a nutshell, that we are thinking ourselves to be something which we are not. Yes. So it starts at young age. I'm a boy, I'm a girl. So then later on, I'm Indian, French, German, American, whatever. So then I'm a student, and I'm a medical student, engineering student, this, that. So then we may get married, so now I'm husband, wife, I'm father, mother, and even when we join Krishna consciousness, it doesn't end there, right? It continues. I'm a brahmachari, I'm a grihastha, I'm the head pujari and the head cook and the temple president and the Sankirtan leader and. So saying this, of course, does not mean that we should not accept responsibility. Of course not, right? But we should understand that these positions or these duties we are executing, they are all roles we are playing. Like we are wearing different caps or hats. You know, the one for the winter, the one for the summer, the one for the work in the fields, and the cool one for the party or whatever, you know. So, but we are not the hat, you know. Hopefully we are not identifying with it, although if it's a real cool one, we may even identify it and feel, oh, this is a part of me, my hat is so different and special, and oh, if I lose it, oh my God, the part of me is gone, you know, or something. But no, with a hat it's maybe more easy to understand that I am not the hat, I'm just wearing it at different times. Right? So we all have different roles in life. You know? With our parents, we play a certain role. Then if we have our own family, then we play a very different role. Then at the temple, we play another role. Then maybe at work, if we have some outside work, completely different role. So we play so many roles. But we are not that role. None of them. Almost like a peacock. So, what we really are is Jiva Supa Krishna Nityadas. I am eternal servant. That's our real identity. So now my question to you, why do we identify with these roles? What do you think? Why do we identify with them?
For status, social status, and power?
Yeah, you got it pretty right, social status and power, because they give us some enjoyment, some subtle sense gratification. This gratification of importance, that we are somebody, right? Some little recognition, yes. And that's exactly the gratification the false ego likes to have. The false ego pushes us to get this sense enjoyment of being somebody important. Yes, exactly. That's how it is connected. That's why we identify with these roles. No? Yeah. Yes, so maybe we should just do a 2-minute exercise. Turn to your neighbor and share your favorite hat. Your favorite hat. The role you identify the most, you're most attached to, and the thought of giving it up is almost worse than death. Yes. Worse than death, yes. For some people, it is almost worse than death. Yes, so share, which role do you identify the most? Which is so near and dear to you that having to give that up is terrible. Maybe can I ask you to move over to the man and share the man? just to keep a little bit of etiquette here. So everybody was sharing something. Let's hope it was about the topic and not something else.
No, it wasn't topic. It was very nice topic.
Yeah, I mean, you ladies, most of you are pretty young still. But once people are mother, this is a pretty strong one. I am mother. Yeah. And it's not easy to give that up. You know, usually when the child is teenage, 15, 16, mother has to take off the I'm the mother's hat and has to put on I'm the friend hat. And this is really tough for most mothers. You know? Sometimes we have this, that the son is already 45, you know, and the mother is still harassing him, correcting him, you know, disciplining him, telling him what to do, what not to do, right? Any of you know this situation? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, because this I'm the mother hat is such a big one, you know? Or I'm a brahmachari hat. Can also be a pretty big one. Not hinting at you personally. But yeah, it can be a pretty big one, you know. Yeah, so we are not free from these things, even though we are practicing Krishna consciousness. You know. And Prabhupada gives this nice analogy in the 5th canto. He compares life in the material world to a nonsensical stage performance. A nonsensical stage performance. I really love that one. I think it's excellent. Prabhupada's word combination is sometimes very extraordinary, you know? Nonsensical stage performance. This is exactly what life in the material world is. Every lifetime we can imagine as a performance, a crazy circus on the stage. And, you know, one life we are Indian man. And we are running. Oh, I'm so important. I've got so many important things to do. Busy. So, and then death comes, curtain closes, show is over, it's all finished. And then next life, curtain opens again. So this life, I'm a German woman. Oh, so important things I have to do. So busy, running. I have no time for Krishna, too busy. And then again, curtain closes, show is over. And then next time maybe we are a dog in Sweden. Dog also has dog's mind, dog's intelligence, definitely a dog's false ego. My God. You know, dogs have a strong false ego, barking, biting, get out of this property, this is mine, whoa. And you know, so, yeah, and that's how it goes, lifetime after lifetime. Nonsensical stage performance. That's what it is, you know. And what entraps, that's not so bad. So what keeps us in this entrapped in this nonsensical stage performance is the false ego, nothing else. You know, because we are identifying with these roles and with the body for a start, of course, and all the roles we're playing, and that's what entraps us and entangles us lifetime after lifetime. You know? Yeah, so that's how it goes. And I mean, of course, if we think ourselves to be something which we are not, we cannot be peaceful, right? We will be in anxiety, right? Oh yes, because we always have to pretend to be something which we are not. This creates so much anxieties and fears all the time, you know. Let's imagine we are just a cleaner in a big company, and then one day we say, so I'm the boss now. My God, that would be anxiety. How to convince everybody that I'm not the cleaner but the boss, you know? And what if people notice that I'm actually not the boss? And my God, sleepless nights, you know? And then after a few days we say, it was just a joke, I'm actually not the boss, I'm just the cleaner. Thank God, you know? So I don't have to pretend to be something which we are not. Yes. So and that's why, you know, in this material world, as long as we are so influenced by the false ego, we can never be peaceful. Impossible. Because we always imagine ourselves to be something which we are not. The supreme enjoyer, the controller, oh my God, don't we all want to control things all the time? You know, and proprietor, it's mine, and you know, so there cannot be a peaceful situation. You know? And we can notice in Krishna consciousness, as we gradually subdue and dissolve the false ego, we do proportionally become more peaceful. Yes. That we just deeply identify with being servant. And we're not so concerned anymore what everybody thinks about us and how we look like and whether the result will be really fantastic. And all this, you know, or we, let's say as a preacher even. If we are on the false ego platform, we will be all nervous. You know, oh, maybe I will make a fool out of myself and what will people think about me and you know, then we will be all nervous. But if we just say, okay, I'm just humble servant and whatever I can give here, please accept it. Please forgive me if it's not what you expected. I'm simply doing my best. So then you're not in anxiety, you're nervous. No. Yeah. Because we know we can only endeavor to our best. We do the best and Krishna does the rest, as we say. You know, the outcome is up to Krishna. So the more we internalize these things, the more peaceful we will be. You know. Yes. So now, I do want to discuss one interesting verse with you from Bhagavad Gita. That's 1858. There Krishna gives us two choices, two motivating forces, two choices of acting. Translation is, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. That sounds promising, right? If we act in consciousness of Krishna, we overcome all the different obstacles in the material world. So, acting in consciousness of Krishna means what? What does it mean?
So we are not the doers.
Yeah, that first of all we realize our position of servant. We act in this mood of servant, right? And it also means we accept his instructions and recommendations, so that in a nutshell means we act in consciousness of him. So then we will overcome so many obstacles by Krishna's grace. Like we have the understanding that life in the material world, you know, is like an ocean of misery, impossible to get out. We have this nice BBT painting where this drowning person in the waves, you know, is there stretching out the arms. It's hanging in Bangladesh, actually, the original one. And there is Vishnu coming on Garuda, you know, and reaching out. So this is our position. Ocean of material suffering, impossible to get out. But this ocean of material suffering shrinks to the size of a hoof print of a calf. Not a cow, calf. Even smaller. So a hoof print of a calf filled with water, no big deal to step over that, right? You don't even notice it when you go for a walk, you know? So that's what happens if we work in consciousness of Krishna, that this insurmountable ocean of misery shrinks to the size of a hoof print of a calf filled with water. Nice analogy. Yeah. So that's option number one. Then option number two, if, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So that's option number two. Acting through false ego, not hearing Krishna. That's exactly how the false ego works. We can't hear, we can't understand. Yes. So, and then sooner or later we will be lost. At the latest, at the moment of death, when we have to do another round in the material world. But so many times already much earlier than that. It's actually a very practical thing that we can all reflect on our own life, and when we look back at situations where we were in an unpleasant and distressing situation, now looking back, we may be able to see that at that time we definitely worked through false ego. We were trying to be the hero and show off and know everything better and be right or whatever it may be, Yes. And that created our miseries. That's really how it works. Yes. And because so often we work under the false ego, that's why so often we create some unpleasant situations for ourselves. And it is also a practical instruction in the sense that whenever we find ourselves in a miserable position, we can make these 2 steps back and ask ourselves, what am I trying to be here? Am I the humble servant? Or am I trying to be the enjoyer and controller? And if we are a little introspective and honest, we will recognize we are not humble servant. We are trying to control and enjoy. And that's why we are frustrated. Being a humble servant offers the solution to everything. It really works that way. Let us imagine we have some title, we are the head pujari, and then one day the temple president comes to us and says, oh Prabhu, we were thinking maybe we want to put somebody else in charge, So if we are humble servant, this will not be an issue, right? We will say, okay, fine, all I want to do is serve. And I thought I could serve in this function, but if you have some other idea, let me know. All I want to do is serve. That's all. So it will not be an issue, right? But if we are not humble servant, but we are trying to enjoy this ego gratification of being the head pujari, not that I'm hinting here, I don't even know who is the head pujari. So, just general example. So, if we try to enjoy this recognition and this feeling of importance, then we will not be happy to be removed. And we will object, And if it's a higher title, we may even more strongly object. So the head pujari, let's become temple president. Sometimes this is a very common tactic to remove somebody from a position by moving him on to a higher position, make him the regional secretary for some zone there, get rid of him in that way. Here you get that zone, you keep the regional secretary. It is what? Regional secretary in France. Or what? Nobody wants it. No, I'm just joking. So if we attached and we try to enjoy this title, we will object. Sometimes it can be a whole big thing, a conflict, politics. Oh my God, I've seen it all. Yes. So, but if we are humble servants, it will not be an issue. Yes. And I'm wondering, shall I share this? Maybe I should, but I won't mention any names. I was once talking to one person who has a very senior position. And there was this idea in the air that the person would have to give up this position. And because I have some friendly relationship with that person, we were talking about that. And I said to the person, well, there is life beyond being ... I'm not going to say what. There's life beyond being that and that and And then that person said, yeah, sure, but what am I then? What am I then? And I was saying, well, a Vaishnava, a servant. Yeah, all right, but anyway, what am I then? Who am I? And I was thinking, oh my God. And the person is senior to me, so not my position to say anything, to preach to that person or something. No, not my position. So I didn't say anything. But yeah, I was surprised, thinking, my God, we can almost fall into an identity crisis when we have to give up some title, which we were carrying for many years, that we fall into some hole. If we so much identify with it, we fall into a hole and, oh, what am I then? Who am I? Oh, I'm a nobody now. Oh my God. Yeah. Serious. Yeah. And that's, by the way, also what can really keep us at the moment of death. I was once, and actually not only once, I was a few times in that situation where I could accompany a person in this last phase of life, accompanying them to the point of leaving their body. It's a very sweet and deep experience, actually. You can really relate from soul to soul with a person at that time. Because all the externals, they don't count anymore. They're not important anymore. Yeah, so, and this person, he was a young fellow. He was from Kiev, actually, from Ukraine. He was Bhakta leader there. He was only 35. He had leukemia. And yeah, he was about to leave. But he was really attached. He just wanted to stay in this world. He was so in denial, he thought he would be cured or something. And I was trying to tell him and bring his mind to the spiritual world and all this, Krishna's waiting, He was like a skeleton with skin over it. I mean, I had never seen such a skinny body, he looked terrible. So in any case, one day I said to him, you must have the feeling that you have something really important to do in this world. And he said, yes, I am the Bhakta leader in Kiev. And I said to him, Prabhu, you're not the Bhakta leader in Kiev. You're just servant. Krishna has already arranged some other service situation for you. He's waiting. Just let go of the Bhakta leader in Kiev. Yes. So that made me realize, wow, these designations, they keep us in this world. And it's so much more difficult to go. But if we just understand, I am servant, okay, Krishna, here I am, please take me. I'm sure you have arranged some other service situation for me. Let me move. Then it becomes so much easier. But if you think, I am the Bhakta leader, or even being a grandmother, that's also a tough one. Grannies, grandmothers, anybody here a grandmother? Yes, okay. So there you go. Usually for our parents, it's the big thing. Now my daughter has a child. I'm a grandmother. Joy. Yeah. And then easily people start all over with family life, with the grandkids, that they become the focus in life. That's why we need to know about the Vanaprastha. Otherwise, this I am the grandmother, and when we lie on our deathbed thinking, oh, I didn't see my granddaughter getting married, then we may just have to come back just to see that. How the granddaughter gets married. Well, is it worth it? Not so sure, Yes. Yeah, so these designations, they're really keeping us, and they make it difficult to go. Yeah. Yeah, so, but let's go back to this verse one more time, 1858. So these two motivating forces. Actually, my bank in Germany, they have this motto on their website. So, everybody has something that keeps him going. So when I read that, I couldn't help but smiling to myself. Yeah, the false ego. I am the father, I am the grandmother, I am this, I am that, and that keeps us going. Yes, so these two motivating forces, let us understand them more deeply. Like the materialistic motivating force is the ambitious false ego motivating force of I want to become a doctor, a lawyer, a this, a that, a guru, sannyasi, traveling preacher, worldwide kirtaniya, worldwide known kirtaniya, and so we pick some designation and we ambitiously strive for this. That's the false ego motivation in a nutshell. You know? But then, for Vaishnavas, there is actually a different motivating force. All I want to do is serve. Because that's our eternal position. Serving. Right? Yes. Serving. All I want to do is serve, serve, serve. Doesn't matter what. Serve with heart and soul. And interestingly, if we have that mood, that Paramatma in the heart witnesses that. And Paramatma makes the right arrangements at the right time for us to move forward. Yes, it really works that way. There is no need for a devotee to plan a whole career within Krishna consciousness or something. No need. If we give ourselves with heart and soul in service, more and more service opportunities will come to us. We will get the blessings, the mercy. Yes, this is really the path to success in spiritual life. Not the ambitious false ego motivation of wanting to be this and that and the other thing, you know. Yeah, so I find this always very important for devotees to understand. Because in the material world, it's the opposite. It's all the false ego thing, pushing everybody else out of the way, stepping on each other's head to get up there to the top, you know. And of course, the more expert we become in showing off, the more successful we will be, right? Yes. I mean, these days, any fool can become world famous overnight just by posting some crazy things, and you get millions of clicks there, you know, viewers. Yes. Yes. So, but that's not the path of success in devotional life. If we just serve with heart and soul, everything else will unfold, guaranteed. So this is also a very reassuring, you know, fact. And it's very practical, because if we really give ourselves in service, I mean, our leaders, authorities, they will recognize, they will give us more responsibilities. Very, very natural if we are punctual and reliable and dutiful and we do things really with full endeavor. More and more service opportunities will come naturally, you know. So, very nice to know, you know, that the material world is a very different mood of path to success. Because sometimes if we're not clear We bring this materialistic conditioning into our spiritual practice, and we think here we also have to be all ambitious, false ego drive, and you know. But no, especially when it comes to preaching or kirtan, you know, we actually need a little bit of empowerment of the Lord, you know, some blessings. And that gives us the empowerment to actually reach and transform people's hearts. And this does not come through false ego and ambitiousness. You know? No, that will not attract Krishna's merciful glance upon us. What attracts Krishna's merciful glance upon us is that devotion, that love, that energy we put into our service, the selfless service mood. That will attract Krishna's merciful glance and blessings, you know. And then he personally will arrange all the right doors to open at the right time. You know? Yes. I've experienced it myself. You know? Yes. I had never a plan. I could never even imagine, you know, traveling the world in white with shaved head writing books. It was not my plan. Definitely not. But the order came from above. You should preach. You should write. Yes. Yeah. Definitely. And then there is, some little blessings are there, you know. There's nothing worse than a person thinking, oh, I have to preach. I'm such a good preacher. Everybody should hear me. Oh, I have to write. Oh, you know. Oh, no. You know, nothing worse than that. But the order has to come from above, you know. Yeah. So good to understand. I have a few more little things to talk about, but maybe we see if anybody has some questions, some topics for further discussion. Just what we touched upon today, because tomorrow at 11, I hope that you will have time there. I was a little doubtful whether at 11 o'clock you would have time. But yeah, I was requested to have it at 11, so it wouldn't be parallel to the Harinam. Yeah, so yeah, there will be more tomorrow. So yeah, if you can come tomorrow, this is just setting the grounds. But tomorrow we get more deeper into all different kinds of ways how to dissolve the false ego and all that. So what questions do we have?
You said that the order must come from above. So can you clarify this point? What does it mean?
To clarify the point that the order has to come from above? Well, saying that the order has to come from above does not mean that we should be brainless and not think at all, you know, and not cultivate some desires or plans or something. So, but it should not be put into practice with some false ego ambitiousness. But, you know, we can share with somebody. That's what I did when my husband left. While I was married, I was never even sitting on the Vyasasana, not a single time. You know, I was conducting ladies' programs and puja meetings, Sankirtan meetings, but not from the Vyasasana. He was the temple president, and I felt I should not compete with him there. So, but then when he left, I thought, okay, let's move on. No more man-woman thing. I was only 40 at the time, so I wasn't even that old. So, and then I once revealed my mind to Narendra Swami, and I was saying to him, oh Maharaj, I'm thinking maybe I could preach a little bit. And he was jumping off his chair, saying, you want to preach? Come to Ukraine. Yes. And from then on, every time I met him, he asked me, so when are you coming to Ukraine? And I was like, Maharaj, I first have to practice to give a Bhagavatam class. Give me a little bit of time to prepare. You know? Yeah, and every time I met him, when are you coming to Ukraine? You know? So that's how my humble preaching started in Ukraine. That's where I practiced. Ukraine and Bangladesh. And then gradually. Bangladesh is a good field for practicing too. there you can get away with anything, with any foolish thing, you know. And everybody will, woo, they will think it's great, you know. So great places to preach and practice. Yeah, so, you know, that's a humble, that's an example of my humble self, that, yeah, the order should come from above, meaning that we can still express some thought and idea in a humble mood. But then if he would have said, oh no, maybe better not, I think you should study a bit more and first do the Bhakti Shastri course, which I hadn't done at that time, because when I joined there was no Bhakti Shastri course. You know, so if he would have reacted like that, I would have dropped it. Okay, let me qualify myself first and learn a few verses or something. You know, but he was literally jumping off his chair. You know, and similar was with the books too. It was not my idea. Shivam Swami said, now you've got your institute, where are your books? You have to write. And I was completely shocked. Me writing, how am I going to do that? You know? It seems like such a impossible task to write a book, right? If you've never done it. I mean, now I've got a bit of practice. But yeah, I mean, my God, writing a book, oh my God, how do you do it? You know? So then I went to Niranjan Swami and said, oh, you know, Shivam Swami told me I should write. What do you think? He's my third Diksha Guru, by the way. I had 2 more before. One of them is coming. Prabhu was my second Diksha Guru. And my first one was Bhavananda in Australia. Yes. Yeah, actually, I owe Prabhu Prabhu a lot. It was him who got me to Bangladesh. He was CBC there. So if I hadn't taken shelter of him, my whole life would have gone completely different. But nevertheless, I moved on. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, and then when I asked Niranjan Swami, he said, yeah, well, if you think you have a message to preach, you definitely should write. You know, so then I thought, okay, let me think about it. So yes, is it now a little clearer? The order has to come above. Yes, and this is, for example, also with poetry. You know, in the Fourth Ego book, I'm sharing some situation with Prabhupada, where one of his disciples, he was making this Sanskrit poetry and writing it on the wall there in Mayapur, you know, and Prabhupada really chastised him and smashed him and said, devotees should repeat, you know, the verses and poetry of the previous acharyas. And not, oh, look at me, I'm the great poet here, writing it on the wall in Mayapur. Prabhupada was not impressed at all. You know, yes. And it's with many things like that, even composing kirtan melodies. Well, better to follow in the footsteps of our great kirtaniers and sadhus in ISKCON and sing the melodies they compose. You know, rather than, oh, this is my melody. Yeah, it's this false ego creeping in, you know, if we can't sing melodies from others, you know, and it has to be my melody, not such a good sign, you know. So we should be ordered, oh, let's make a melody together, you know, or can you compose a melody around this and this mood and tune or something, you know. So then, yes, okay, we are the humble servant, but these things very easily, if we are not ordered to do them, then the false ego may very well be behind it, you know, wanting recognition. So that's why the order should come from above. Right? What else? Yes?
Thank you for the class. What is the function of the false ego? Like if it's there, maybe it has something good to do also. It's not
Yes,
only for
it
sabotage.
does. I wanted to talk about that. Good that you asked. Yes, she's asking what's the function of the false ego. Maybe it also has a good part. Well, I mean, the bigger bad part is that it is a material element of the subtle material body, so it is entangling us, you know. But yes, it does have also a little bit of a good function, because at least it gets us going. Yes, at least it gets us motivated. Because even amongst devotees, let's be clear, in the beginning stage, the false ego motivating force is so much stronger than the motivating force of wanting to serve Guru and Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Yes, we see this clearly in married life. Serving my husband, my children, ooh, then we are flying, you know, cooking, baking cakes, doing so many things. Oh yes, for my husband, my children, I do everything, ideally. But, you know, cooking the right food, really, I'm tired, no energy, you know. Yeah, I've seen it, you know. I mean, I've been in the Brahmachari ashram myself for 4 years. So usually after some time in the ashram, you get to the stage where you just, you get a little tired and worn out, and it's time to move on. And then in married life, I mean, Grihastha ashram needs a sense of ownership. It's very much motivated by I, me, and mine. My house, my family, my car, my wife, my children. And that motivates us. And then the purifying duty is to give in charity and to receive guests in your home and feed them and all these kind of things. I explained that in Secrets of Success there. Yes, so, but the I, me and mine, very important for Grihasthas. Nanda Maharaj, he had thousands of cows. They were his cows, not Lord Vishnu's cows or something. No, they were his. And he gave in charity at every opportunity, giving the cows in charity. You know? Yes. Yeah, so the I, me and mine, it's almost, we can say, it's like Krishna tricksing us through the false ego to motivate us. But then eventually we have to purify it. You know? And that's a whole lifetime process, basically. You know? That's why we have the ashrams and all this, you know, to actually purify, not only the false ego, but it's a big part of the whole purifying process. You know? Yeah. Also, another example is, I hope I'm not getting into trouble here by saying it, but men do have a stronger false ego. Anybody who is married may have noticed that. So, not only the gross body is stronger of the man, but the subtle body also. Mind, intelligence, false ego, definitely. So, it is so because a man, according to Krishna's system, is meant to take charge. And just to make sure he takes charge, the ego, false ego, motivates him. If it wasn't for the false ego, he probably wouldn't want to play the role. But somebody has to play it, right? So that's why Krishna tricks him, gives him the stronger false ego, you know, and that motivates him to take charge. And within Krishna consciousness, he has to purify that false ego drive and take charge as humble servant, which is a real challenge. Yes, because anybody who has ever taken charge in anything knows how the false ego immediately wants to be a part of it. You know? So to lead and take charge in the mood of humble servant, that's not easy, that's a challenge. You know? Yeah. I once heard in a lecture, false ego should be dissolved and transformed, but not too quickly. Meaning, you know, we first, or parallel We have to really cultivate this motivating force of wanting to serve Krishna and the devotees and Guru. You know? And as we strengthen that motivating force, we can let go of the false ego motivating force. But if we give up the false ego too quickly, then we drown in tamaguna. We do nothing. We become lazy. We also see that quite a lot. You know? Yes. The people say, oh yes, you know, I don't want to work hard like an ass. And especially when a person has sometimes no job, no responsibilities, you know, then they just live in the day and they do nothing. And you know, and because this motivating force of wanting to serve Prabhupada is not enough developed. Otherwise he would use his time, or she, you know, effectively. Yes. But that's not developed enough. Tamaguna. Can't do anything. Can't get anything done. You know? Yes. So that's why often it's better to have a job and give in charity. You know? At least then we are regulated, we have a duty, and we give in charity. Then we contribute something, rather than just living in the day and sleeping in and not doing that much, you know, just living some humdrum life there, you know. So having a job is not all Maya or something, even there's also a lot of benefit there to be regulated and responsible, you know, because sometimes people just don't learn to accept any responsibility and be punctual and dutiful and all this, you know. Yeah, so it does have some good part. Also, another example is, I don't know here in New Mayapur what your temple cars look like, but very often they're not nicely maintained, right? Often they are bombs, because everybody drives them, everybody bashes them around. You know, and the service and cleaning is minimal, you know. So, but if it is my car, then I'm very particular and I make sure it's all nice and, you put a dent in my car and you're going to have to fix this and, you know. Yes, you can really see it, you know. Actually, it should be the other way around, you know. That, this is Krishna's car, you know. But, it's my car. Yeah, so people are motivated by a sense of ownership. That's why even in temple management, if there's temple cars, good idea to put it in one person's care. Here, your keys, that's your car. You know, as Brahmachari, I had my Sankirtan car. You know? And that gave me a sense of ownership there, and you know, and I was taking care of it. Yes. But if it doesn't belong to anybody, not a good idea. No. We can also see this in rural projects, that if we want things to flourish, it's good to give the grihastas a sense of ownership, to privatize some aspects of a project, like a garden cafe. If it's a temple department, usually it will not develop as nicely. But if you put it in the grihasta's care, and you make a contract, here, so and so much you give to the temple, then it flourishes. This is my garden cafe. Okay, what are we going to do? Pizza, chips, ice cream. You know, then you have it happening. But if it's just Krishna's, unfortunately, then we just do the minimum and, sorry, I'm going on a holiday now and this and that. You know, and it will not take off, you know. What other questions? Yes.
So we have natural propensities, you know.
Yes.
So if they're not employed, in Krishna's service when I get frustrated, you know.
Yes.
So should the leaders make sure that we are using our natural propensities?
Yes. So should we use our propensities? Well, I mean, I guess this is what Varnashram is all about. But let's be clear, it's not really the level of bhakti yet. It is not the level of bhakti. If we only want to do things which we like to do, that's not bhakti yet.
No, but
Yeah.
we should also do things.
Yes, because if we do things which we like to do, we would do them anyway, let's be honest. And alright, we like to do them. Why do we like to do them? Because there is some sense of false ego gratification. We get some pleasure, you know? I mean, the pleasure we get in Krishna consciousness is not all pure. Of course not, because we are not pure. Our motive is not pure, you know? So, we have to be a little honest, you know? To say, yes, I like to do this. So, it pleases me, and hopefully also Krishna. But bhakti starts, according to Nectar of Devotion, when we do something which we never ever wanted to do. But for Krishna, I'm happy to do anything. If we make that sacrifice to do it for Krishna's pleasure, that's a sign of beginning love, you know? Or if we give up something which we are very attached to, which we would never ever want to give up, but for Krishna's pleasure, I'm ready to give it up. These are signs of beginning love, you know? And even in practical ways like that. Let's say a friend is doing something and he says, oh, I'm doing it all for you, but we know, no, he likes to do it anyway. He's not doing it for me, he's doing it for his own pleasure. You know, all right, he gives me some fruits of the activity there, you know. So it's not as endearing as if somebody is doing something which he normally doesn't do, but oh wow, to help me out, he is sacrificing himself. That's endearing, you know. But yeah, to get there is a gradual process. So that's why we have Varnashram, that we act according to our natures and. But let's be clear, as long as we are attached to one particular service, there is still a bit of ego gratification there. Better would be to just be attached to serving in itself, never mind in which capacity, you know. That is a higher level. Yes. Just to be eager to serve. And as we become purified, we will not be so attached anymore to just doing this service or that service. We can function in any capacity, and all right, in some areas we maybe get better results than in others, you know. But we are happy to do anything, you know. Yes, as long as it's pleasing for the Lord and the devotees, and you know. Yeah, we're willing to sacrifice ourselves. I mean, here Srimati Radharani says, you know, I do not mind. I'm not interested in my happiness. All I want is Krishna's happiness. That's the goal of my life. So, if it gives him pleasure to see me in distress, then my distress becomes the best of my happiness. That's what Radharani says. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Wow, that's bhakti. You know? I'm not worried about my happiness. All I want is Krishna's happiness. And if it pleases him to see me struggling and suffering, then the struggle and suffer will be the best of my happiness. That's bhakti, not just doing what I like. You know? That's the beginning stage, but we don't want to stay forever on that beginning stage, you know. Yeah. And even when people come to Krishna consciousness, alright, we let them do what, also we engage in what they like to do, but then there should also a bit of toilet cleaning and this and that, you know, just to cultivate that mood that, yeah, we should not only do what we want to do, but also we should be a little unconditional, you know. Pure devotional service is meant to be unconditional, so if we only want to do what is according to our nature, that's not unconditional, you know. So people often get a little mixed up there, you know. And definitely let us also be clear that the main thing in Krishna consciousness is not to develop my amazing talents. You know? No. That's not what Krishna consciousness is meant for. Krishna consciousness is meant to develop bhakti, not my amazing talents. And if I can't develop them, I feel all frustrated, I'm not getting the right chances here and this and that. That's not the goal of bhakti. Yes, we get a little mixed up sometimes. Yeah. Okay, what else? Anything else? Yes?
About the role of the mother, this is very
Role of the mother.
difficult to give up this role, this identification. And I heard also, I want to know if it's true that Srila Prabhupada said that for the mother, child is like a deity, should be like a deity.
Yes.
And how can we reconcile with the fact that she should not be over-attached and at the same time she should do her responsibility properly?
Okay. Yeah, there is this famous letter where Prabhupada instructs one Mataji because she seemed to have given her child in other people's hands and she's always on the altar. And then Prabhupada says, for you, how does he say it? For you.
Now it's your Krishna.
No, hang on. For you, your deity worshippers, your child. Oh, okay. God, I've quoted it so many times here, all day. Oh, I forgot. For you, child, your child is more important than the deity for you. For you, deity worship means child worship or something like that, Prabhupada says. It's a famous letter. I've got it in my course. So, yeah, because see, mother plays such an important role. She's the first guru to the child. It's a very close, intimate connection, the mother-child relationship. Prabhupada says it's the purest form of love in this material world. Because, being a mother, you have to run 24/7, whether you like it or not. There's no, 5 o'clock, finished the day. No, forget it. So that's why sometimes people don't want children, because they realize you give up your independence. You have to actually serve when you have a child. So, but then, yes, when the child is 15, 16, you have to cut this umbilical cord. You have to become detached. So there's no contradiction, Mother's role is extremely important. She has to give all her attention and love and care, at least for the first 5, 6, 7 years. But still, even then, But then when the child is teenager, she has to cultivate detachment, let the child establish themselves in life, and they have to make their decisions. So it's a challenge. More than for the fathers, I dare say, because fathers don't sacrifice as much. Not wanting to say they're not important or something. No, they also play a role, but I don't want to get into the kids' course. I've got a whole 15-hour course on children, Yeah, but men, fathers don't sacrifice as much as the mother. 9 months pregnant, childbirth, my God, it's a whole thing, Nobody can replace the mother. Nobody. Mother is mother. Yes. So, and that's why it's a real challenge then to cultivate detachment. Yes. So the importance of detachment does not mean that we should not be mothers, or we should be lousy mothers and not give our energy to the child. No, that's the whole purifying journey. To give that child Krishna consciousness and play the role as first guru and then cultivate detachment. That's the whole purifying journey. Yeah. There's a lot of purification in it. Definitely. Anything else? Yes.
What about finding our true identity and our role in the world when everybody in the world is kind of expecting us to fit in and sacrifice our individuality? I don't know if it makes sense. How it does fit
How
together.
to find our individuality in the world
Like in a
when
healthy way.
everybody expects us to fit in. Well, the real individuality is revealed as we become purified in relationship to Krishna. That's the real individuality. Yes. Any other so-called individuality in society, this is just another version of the false ego. Oh, I'm a hip-hop and this and that and vegan and I'm this, that, the other thing. They all these kind of so-called individualities we are, accepting.
Or maybe Varna.
Huh?
If it's related, maybe Varna or something.
Well, even Varna is another designation. There's this verse which we chant on the altar. I'm not a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. I'm not a Grihastha, Brahmacharis, and Vanaprastha, Sannyas. I'm servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. Right? I forgot the Sanskrit too long ago for me that I chanted that verse. Yes, so we are not these designations, even Varnashram. That's why Varnashram is just in the beginning, to engage people. But then, once we get a taste for Shravan and Kirtanam, then Varnashram doesn't become important anymore.
But still, somehow we have to exist in this world with
Well, so we have to exist in this world, yes. So that's why we do accept roles, we play them, but at the same time we clearly understand that we should not think it's me. It's just the roles I'm playing. So it doesn't mean we shouldn't become mother. No, we should become mother because it's so purifying. But we should clearly understand. So Krishna gives me the soul in my care for some years to help the soul on their journey back to Godhead. And I'm playing the role of the mother. So, but when the child is 15, 16, I'm still the mother, but I'm not controlling anymore. And I have to have a friendship with that soul, and I have to allow that soul to make their decisions in life, and So we go through life accepting all different roles according to the ashrams and so on, and maybe also duties, varnas, whatever. But we have to hear. That's why this discussion, I find it very important to understand that yes, they're just temporary roles we're playing, but I'm servant. And then what my true individuality is in the spiritual world, that will be revealed in due course of time. We don't have to worry about that now. But anything else, even just, you mentioned to fit in and meet the expectations of others. Well, I tell you, if we are too concerned about what others think You know? False ego. What do they think of me? You know? Well, who cares what they think of me? You know? As long as I'm acting under the guidance of seniors and guru, you know, and according to the process of Krishna consciousness, who cares what the neighbors think or whatever, you know? Who cares? We don't just act to fit in that they are pleased or something. No. We have to have the courage to be different. I mean, Krishna consciousness is 180 degrees opposite of you know, materialistic life, so we have to have the guts to stand up for it. You know? Yes. I travel everywhere in sari, tilak, white, you know, shaved head. I don't care what people think. And people really like it. So much preaching opportunity. Yeah? Yeah, people often come up to me and ask what I'm doing and this and that. You know? It's the best preaching to show yourself in devotional clothes with tilak in public. At least in summer. If it's 2 meters snow, then it may look a little ridiculous. You know? But in summer, it's the best way to preach. You know? Was there any hand up here on this side? No. Yes? Only from the lady side comes questions. The men don't have a false ego? Or?
No, we know already.
You get answered.
Okay, so what was your question? Whose was it? Yes. Yes.
The arrangement of Krishna for you and your first plans in Krishna consciousness, how similar are they? Is there a big gap between what you first desired in Krishna consciousness and what Krishna arranged for you later?
Well, as I said, I never imagined that I would travel the world and wide with shaved head and write books. Pretty different. Never imagined. That's the point. You know, I never had any ambitious goals there, but I did try to really give heart and soul and service, whatever it was. Yeah, that I definitely tried. Yeah.
And my second question is a little bit, is there a spiritual reason behind you shaving your head? Or
completely different person. Well, it's a sign of renunciation. You know? If you go to Bengal, you find so many ladies with shaved head, white saris. They even have a shika. But I don't have one. I get a little, yeah. But no, it's part of our culture. Yes. It's simply a sign of renunciation. But it should really deeply come from within. It's not just another hairstyle fashion here, so now I'm shaved, look at me, or something. So it all has to fit together, that there's no makeup, no jewelry, white, simple, you know, and yeah, and it's liberating. One thing less to worry about. He was doing pretty well all that time. Yeah, no, it is helping to get off the bodily platform. Because also, we women, it's a bit off the topic, but we women are meant to bring color and beauty into life. See, if I look to the man, there's not so much color. It's all blue, grey, you know? But then looking at the women, if you would sit over there, you don't have to, but if you would, you know, so there's green, there's purple, there's blues, there's pink there in the back, you know, so there's more color there. So life would be pretty boring if every human being had a man's nature. So we are meant to bring color and beauty into life. And in order to do that, we have to be more on the bodily platform, otherwise we couldn't be bothered. Right? Why standing in front of the mirror there and paint your eyes and put earrings in and all that? What for? But the bodily platform inspires a woman to play that role. So, and also the hair is a very important part of the whole bodily identification, not only for women, for men also. You know, for most men, to shave their head first time, bit of a stab. You know?
I did it multiple times. But
Huh?
I did it multiple times. So
You did multiple times, but you went back to your hairstyle. Yeah, no, but for the first stab, I've heard men sharing it. It's a bit of a stab, and you're worried, oh, my ears will poke out, and my nose will be looking more bigger, and this and that. Yeah, so yeah. And even for women, Renard's face to shave gets you more off the bodily platform. Something less to worry about, shampoo and this and that, and how to color it, and how to comb it, and you know, yeah, it's good. I wouldn't want to go back to having hair. But I didn't look always like that, you know. Of course, when I was married, I had hair and colourful saris and earrings and nose ring and the whole lot. All right, well, maybe.
A practical question. There's two signs in the hallway. One says it's 10:30 tomorrow, one says it's 11. What time is your class tomorrow? 10:30?
I was told 11.
Okay, it's written 10:30 one place.
Is it? Maybe that's
I'm gonna fix it, don't worry.
okay. Is 11 for you okay? Is anybody who can't come at 11?
it depends on service.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That's good.
So that's depends on service of everybody, but we can.
So let me say a few words about these books, hoping that maybe some of you will feel inspired to get some. So, Spiritual Culture, Krishna's Divine System. This is all about the different natures and qualities of men and women, that they're very different. I find it very fascinating to discover how different they are, because according to Krishna's system, they're meant to play different roles. Yes, and we women are very powerful. We have a very powerful Shakti, much more powerful than men's energy. But yeah, we have to know how to use it. We are meant to use it by being the power of inspiration to the men. We are not meant to compete with the men and try to be the hero ourselves, but we are meant to empower the men, according to Bhagavatam. You know, so yeah, very helpful, very helpful. Very helpful for married life, and not only married life, the same principles are there in all dealings with the other gender. If we want to have nice, harmonious relationships, even here in the community or at work, even with some non-devotee man in the office, if you apply these principles, you will have a nicer atmosphere with men around you in your life. And also for the men, you know, it's very eye-opening if they want to get that encouragement and support of the women. You know, he read the book and shared with me before the seminar how much he likes it and how much it was an eye-opener to him and so on. And it has really helped and even saved quite a few marriages already. Yes, people have sent me these emails. Sometimes they put big donations in my bank account, even though I have never met them. And they say, oh, this book saved my marriage. You know? So not that I need any money, but it speaks for itself if people are willing to give a big donation. You know? Yeah, so, and some temples use this book as a hand-trick book for brahmachari training.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the men also have to understand woman's role. If woman's role is misunderstood and neglected, whole humanity goes down the drain. You know? And the Bhagavatam is full of heavy statements about women. There you will get an insight why Prabhupada says these things. You know, many women, they just read over these heavy statements and park them and don't want to confront themselves with it. But hey, Prabhupada said them, there must be a reason. Let's try and understand more deeply why Prabhupada says these things. And it's actually, yeah, it's important for preaching that we can present Prabhupada's words in an appealing way, you know, rather than thinking, well, maybe you should change Prabhupada's words or something, you know. So that book is also available in Russian, if anybody prefers in Russian. So then the next one, sheltering relationships. That's all about the importance of mentorship. That just having a diksha or shiksha guru, not enough. We need a coach, a mentor, a counselor, somebody on a more immediate level to actually guide us and show us where we have to, adjust a little bit things or how we move forward step by step. Otherwise, very easily we stay in our comfort zone and we become stagnant completely, And then we may practice for 30 years, but nothing much really transforms because we always cut corners and stay in our comfort zone rather than really moving forward. So when you read this book, you will be convinced that without having a mentor and eventually becoming one to others, we actually cannot make advancement. That's what it boils down to. Yes. We have lost a lot of wonderful devotees. Even all our gurus and sannyasis who could not maintain their position, they had all this in common. They didn't have short-term relationships. Bharat Maharaj in the Bhagavatam, his problem was he didn't have a mentor. He was in the forest and got caught by the whole entanglement with this deer. Yes. He didn't have anybody tapping him on the shoulder saying, hey, it's enough now with the deer, get back to your sadhana. That was his problem actually. Yes. So even on the level of bhava, highly elevated platform where you have transcendental emotions, they can turn back into material attachment, if you're not careful. And a mentor can save us. Yes. Very important. So then the next one, the false ego, a constant companion and troublemaker. I think we had some little introduction to this today. And of course in the book is so much more than what we can discuss in two sections. And there's a whole chapter on chanting in kirtan and japa. It's almost like a summary of a holy name retreat. Because especially kirtan, if you're not careful, it can be the scenario to feed our egos and show off. Yes. So, yeah. So it's a powerful combination, holy name and false ego. So, and then, yes, give me the next one, please. It's too far away. Entering the Grihastha ashram, how to do it, how better not to do it. It's like a handbook for matchmaking. Yes. How to actually see whether a man and woman are compatible. Yes, there's a whole list of over 100 topics which both should discuss with a cool head without pink glasses on to see, are we on the same page? Because what always happens is that people somewhere will meet each other, both have unfulfilled needs. Two people with unfulfilled needs then attract each other like magnets, and then the pink glasses. And then after 2-3 years they wear off and you realize, why did I marry this guy? We're not on the same page, we have completely different goals and aspirations and we have a high divorce rate, and I'm convinced that it's because we start the whole thing with the wrong way. I've been serving a bit as a matchmaker over the years, especially during pandemic. I couldn't travel so much and I always get sucked in, I see people need some help with this, But yeah, so I follow that system, so it's tested, it works. So it's good for anybody who has children and want to help them to find a compatible partner, or who serves as a mentor or an authority or wants to care for people and help them, or for unmarried people, or you may be married but maybe you haven't entered the Grihastha ashram yet. So it's also a different thing, so there is some things also interesting for people who are already married. Just the whole approach and outlook and mood towards family life. As an ashram, very different than mundane family life. Then the last one, family life as an ashram, secrets of success. There's a lot of stuff in it. And I'll share also some stories from Bangladesh in this book. And there is also a whole chapter on affection and physical intimacy. How to apply the principle of no illicit sex life in marriage. There's a lot of misunderstanding over this, which can also lead to divorce. Yes. So not so many people talk about this openly, you know. Yes. So, yeah, but so many other things are in there too, you know. So I hope it will be some humble contribution to make our Grihastha ashram more solid and strong and harmonious and stable. Because actually many, you know, devotees' family life is not an ashram, it's something else. Because we don't take training. Right? People just get married and all they know is mundane family life. And that's what they create. And they're far away from family life as an ashram. People will discover that when they read the book, that, oh God, okay. You know, the principles are all pretty simple, but to actually live them and apply them, we have to show them. That's our first priority. You know? Is it really Krishna or something else? Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, if anybody wants any books, these last three, they are 15 euros each, and these two are 10 euros each, and the sheltering relationships are also have in Russian available, if anybody wants any books. Okay, so if you want any books, let me know, and I'll be happy to put them in your hand. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So please come back, bring a few other people along. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go work with him.